Welcome to Brass Tacks. Brass Tacks is a show about stuff. I am your host, Dennis Horvitz. Brass Tacks is produced and directed by Fred Brass. We have been covering a lot of different subjects over the last, 8 or 9 months now. Before we get into the main subject of the show, I just want to say that I have 2 weekends ago, I attended the Rally for Reason in Washington, D.C., and then the 38th Annual American Atheist Convention, where we had a lot of very special and wonderful speakers and presenters, one of whom was Dr. Lawrence M. Krauss of Arizona State University, who is the author of the book called A Universe from Nothing, and I guess I show it to this camera. It's a very, I had managed to interview him for another show. Oops, there we go. A Universe from Nothing, Lawrence M. Krauss. He said that, amongst other things, that the universe is mostly nothing and nothing has properties. So I just thought I'd bring that up to begin with. Now, to get on to the subject of the show, I've been wanting to do this since the show started. Most of the things that we talk about, such as the book I just displayed, and the subject has been about science, it's been about politics, it's been about culture. But for the longest time, I have wanted to explore the art world, and hopefully we were going to be doing more of that in the future. And I couldn't be more delighted to introduce my guest, Fulbright Scholarship winner, Sonia Megías from Madrid. Is that where you're from now, Madrid?
No, I'm from Almansa, from the southeast of Spain.
Okay, I know that that's where you were born, but I just thought but I know that you go back and forth, right?
Yeah, actually, I was living in Madrid before coming here, and I will return to Madrid.
Okay. Yeah. In any case, Sonia, you've been into music at the age of 5. What made you get into music at 5?
Actually, I received a little keyboard as a present when I was 3, and my mother noticed that I was playing the melodies that I was hearing around. So then she thought, oh, we need to put her into music, and so I began to study it.
And I guess we're all fortunate that they did, because, and you've studied with a lot of renowned teachers, Esther Ferrer, Karl-Heinz Stockhausen, Joshua Feinberg, Felix Santos, Megías, you're going to have to pronounce this for me.
Megías Mayhuasca.
Okay, that's good. Close as I'm going to get. Juan
Maria
Solari and Arturo Moya.
Yeah.
These are names I wish I was more sophisticated and I actually knew who these people were, but I'm going to take your word for it that they're very important people. And in any case, we are just very lucky to have her. She's very graciously donated her time. We happen to be taping this very late at night, so especially doubly happy to have you here and very grateful you're spending time. You are here at, like I said, a Fulbright Scholarship, but you have received a number of artistic grants, and you have been a teacher, and you are a composer, and you've worked for in such institutions as Doce Notas magazine. You're going to have to correct me if my Spanish goes the wrong way, okay? The National Jazz Orchestra of Spain, the Orchestra and Chorus of the Community of Madrid, and the Royal School of Dramatic Art, Center for the Fusion of Contemporary Music. We're going to have to do a separate show just for all the things that you've done. Just to talk, if I start making a list, we're going to. I have a whole list of accomplishments this woman has done, and we're going to have to just devote a whole show to that, just reading off the names. But she has several. She has several more than a dozen, maybe almost 24. Videos on YouTube.
I think 40 or something like that.
40, and she basically is a, how could we describe your music, and art music? It's abstract, would that be right?
Abstract, avant-garde.
Avant-garde. Avant-garde, experimental. you have basically been improvising all your life, doing different things with music. And there were, in researching the show, I kind of was on YouTube, and as I said to Sonia before the show started, I don't come from an artistic background, so I didn't really know what to look for. So I decided to kind of look at her videos and let them find me. So I found about five or six different videos. One of which, and I don't know. I wish we could kind of drop them into the tape and have you see them right now. But hopefully you'll be inspired to go and find it. But there's one. The first one I noticed was a piece called Triangle, which was dedicated to the women of the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory Fire, which of course most people are aware of, occurred in 1911. It was one of the contributors to leading to more stringent fire protection laws now in this country. How does a Spanish girl find out about the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory Fire?
Actually, I have heard about it sometimes in Spain because I'm in contact with some feminist associations. But I didn't know actually that building today belongs to NYU. That is where I'm studying. So one of my classmates, Molly Herron, she told the other classmates to maybe write a piece to tribute these women because this building now belongs to NYU, and so we went to see the place. And so then some of us wrote some pieces to tribute these women, and this was my contribution for it.
And how would you what kind of a piece is it really? I mean, what would
It is actually like a ritual.
Yes.
It hits you when you listen to it. Usually people are really shocked, and some of them are crying, some of them, because it is a very strong piece. So I talked to a friend who is a playwright to write some kind of script, and she wrote a monologue. Her name is Trini Diaz, and then I put it into music, and it is a short piece. It just lasts like 8 minutes, and it's very, very dense, no?
And there are vocals in it.
Vocals, yeah. So it is for 3 singers, three female singers, that are supposed to be ghosts at this factory. So, yeah, and it is divided in 3 movements that are the day before the fire, the day of the fire, and the day after the fire. So, yes, it's very, very intense.
And where have you presented this piece?
So the very first presentation was at Cervantes Institute of New York. Then we did it at Drum, that is a club at the East Village. And then at the Black Box Theater at NYU. And then next week will be the 4th representation of the piece. Yeah, in New York.
Before I forget, now you have upcoming events in New York City. It's probably I know you have one coming up on April 11th, but I don't know that we're going to be able to have this show up on by that time. So is there what do you have, say, for going on to the late spring, early summer? Do you have other things coming up in New York?
Yeah, I have on May 6th. That's not late spring, but almost.
Yeah, that's late spring, sure.
Yeah, because on April 19th, I have something that will be very important for me, since it will be at Cervantes Institute again, and that's the most prestigious place for Spanish people in New York and everywhere. No? So on April 19th, I will have a show there at 6:30. Then on May 6th, I will have a show composed by happenings and little performances around the NYU area, May 6th, like during the whole afternoon. And then on June 16th, I don't know if I will be here or not, because I'm returning to Spain in June, but I will have a piece premiere that's Symphony Space, and that's that's great for a composer in New York because that's like the Carnegie Hall for contemporary music.
Yes.
So that would be.
All right. Okay. So I'm thinking the reason I mention that is because for people who are watching this and they have a better chance of seeing the May 6th at NYU, and that's called Happenings. There's a series of events that's going on all day in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And June 16th at Symphony Space,
Yeah.
which you may or may not be there, but your composition will be.
My music will be there.
She may not be there, but her piece will be, her composition will be.
And it will be performed by a great soprano that is called Megan Schubert. She's totally amazing. So.
How did you? I guess as you were developing as an artist, and you were held in such high esteem in Spain, and you've gotten all these commissions. But when did you first become noticed in Spain? What was it? What was it? What was that moment? What was that piece that you did?
I think the first piece that had like press releases and everything was El Baila, that you found it on YouTube.
Oh yes, that's the one.
You told me that.
And I want to point out that because we discussed this before, we can't really, if one of us says it, you're not really saying it right because we have to say it together. So you say Baila and I say Laila.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, Laila. That's the title, folks. Okay. I feel so privileged in having to. We collaborated on something.
No performance.
I never dreamed when I woke up this morning I would be involved in a performance with you, with a very famous Spanish artist. It's an honor. But anyway, well, that's good because it leads me to the question I wanted to ask. And by the way, you performed this at the concierto as a concierto monográfico.
Yeah.
Explain at that aula de música.
Aula de música. Yeah.
Aula de música, which is like a music hall.
A music hall.
Like,
yeah.
Right.
So the first performance of the piece was in 2008, and it was a women composers concert that had a big press movement. So that's why I began to become like not famous because a contemporary composer I think is never famous, but begin.
Well, I think it got you noticed.
Yeah, and then in this concert that you can find El Baila on YouTube, it was a concert of all my pieces, not all my pieces, but all the concert was made by my music, by different groups of people, and it was made at Aula de Música from the University of Alcalá de Henares. That is where the...
And that's in Madrid.
Yeah, that's very close to Madrid.
Yeah.
And it is a very prestigious university, actually. And so it was great.
Yeah, which led me to ask the question that I started to. I've never heard the... it's described as a monographic concert, and I've never heard that term before. What does monographic concert mean?
Monographic, in Spanish, monográfico means that all the pieces in that concert belong to the same composer, are written by the same composer.
Okay, is it a widely used concept? Because I mean, I'm showing my ignorance of music. I just never heard it used before.
No, I don't know how do you say in English, like when you make a concert of the same composer.
Well, a collection. I don't know.
Collection of pieces or something.
Yeah.
So that's the.
Oh, because I learned something. I had never heard the term monographic concert before.
Yeah,
that's excellent. I'm jumping around all over here. So this piece that you had, the triangle, that was of course three women, three female singers, and that's without musical accompaniment, or it's just
without musical accompaniment.
It's completely. Now, one of the other things that I noticed jumped out at me was a thing called Snow Ice. Was that kind of just a fun piece for you? Was that just you had a dancer and a dancer skater, and you had a little keyboard with you?
Yeah, A melodica.
A melodica.
Yeah.
And how did you get inspired to do that?
Actually, I made it in an artist residence called iPark that is in Connecticut, very close to East Haddam. That place is like a paradise for me. It's very inspiring, very inspiring. And I have been there many times. And this Snow Ice piece was made by a collaboration. Yeah, it was a collaboration among some artists that were there at that time. And it was on January 1st, so we spent the New Year's Eve together. And the day after, we just went with a camera and some tools to the middle of the forest, and we did this.
You look like you're all having fun. You're being
we
were being pulled on a sled when you're playing your melodica,
and yeah, actually we were on a pond. So
yes,
it was
frozen pond.
Frozen pond, and there was a guy, Ted Efremov, skating, and Frank Sanders. He had the camera. So we were having fun.
Well, I'm glad you got a chance to get that in before global warming makes it.
Yeah, maybe it won't be never again.
Maybe next year you won't be able to do that. It'll be tropical. Now, here's one of the things that listed on YouTube that Sonia has done. And by the way, if you just tuned in, I'm interviewing Sonia Megías, who's a composer, experimentalist, really, cutting edge, avant-garde. You did a couple of pieces. Actually, you've done two, and the third coming up now, based on Mary Shelley's character, Frankenstein's monster, and it's called Shelley. And I've seen Shelley 1 and Shelley 2. And you said, no, have you completed Shelley 3, or is that it still? You have. But when I saw Shelley 1, and of course you have the clarinetist, he's made up as the monster, Frankenstein's monster. And he's using the sounds of his clarinet to convey something. And I guess you'd be better let you tell.
I can explain you a little bit. So this series of pieces have more or less the same structure. So all of them, no. So it is supposed that the monster is sleeping. Then he or she wakes up. Then it's like watching a day in the life of the monster, no?
Yes. Okay.
So he or she is walking around very clumsily. Yeah.
Yes. Right.
And then some things happen musically and also theatrically. So it is a musical theater piece for solo performer. And then at the very end, the monster sleeps again. So
now, I don't know if this was part of the piece, supposedly part of the piece, but I noticed when I watched, there seemed to be children laughing, at least at the beginning. Was that intentional, or was that just, you just decided to that's the way, that wasn't added, there were just children there, is that right?
Actually that's what happens when you present an experimental piece that you don't know what the audience is going to feel or to, so you know that you are shocking them in some kind of, like hitting them in some way, So I can imagine these children watching this guy dressing up as Frankenstein, coming with his clarinet. So I think they were nervous, maybe scared, or just, I don't know. Or
it's just not gonna. It's. I think the part of the message you want to convey is basically. I guess there has to be a certain assumption that your audience knows what you mean when you say Shelley, about
but
the
not the kids.
But not the kids. So it's not. It doesn't surprise me that they would react in a different way, because they would take it from a completely different thing. And as we were talking about before the show, that's art is just that's just the way it is. Whatever reaction you get. Okay, I was just wondering that. I mean, I guess because by its very nature you can't really control it. When something starts and you're doing it live, you can't. But I just wanted to make sure. That I didn't know if that was intended or it just happened to be the way the audience reacted to it.
It happened.
It just happened. Okay. All right. It's not necessary for me to understand the piece to know that think about. Oh, good. Okay, that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
Now you did along the same line. Well, before I get into that, because we were talking before the show, and then we were discussing the subject of alienation, feeling apart, being thought of as strange. Well, I guess in some ways the reaction of the children kind of emphasizes this. Something is different, and their reaction.
They laughed at him, no?
Yeah, their reaction was to laugh because that's the way it struck him, and it was something different, something they weren't expecting. But unfortunately, people in that situation where Mary Shelley was describing in the book the idea of the loneliness of the monster, his people weren't laughing at him. They were frightened of him. They were trying to harm him, and he was driven himself to acts of violence. And that is, I guess, in showing the musician, the clarinetist, dressed up as the monster and going to the physicality of the movement. I guess you're trying to express it in a not only just in an auditory way, but in a physical, but in a physical way. So it was kind of like it was more of a performance than a recital, really, in a way, you know. And I noticed that that in Shelley 2, which now is that a later portion of is that a part later on in the story, basically?
No, actually, they are. So all of these pieces are like versions of the same story, 4 different instruments.
Yes.
And
okay.
So the second Shelley is for accordion.
Accordion, right?
And so the only performer that could play it, because it is a really challenging score. Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah, we have this.
Yeah. So I can show you one page.
I don't know, let me see if we can.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Let me just.
More or less.
Okay.
So
Is there? Can you see yourself? What I'm? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. You have a whole different way of expressing this. Is there some way that you can tell us what's going on in this? This is.
Yeah.
This is for Shelley too.
Yeah.
Right.
What's going on here is that this is the bellow of the accordion. So it's just open, close, open to the limit, then close is a little bit open, close, open. So this is just air.
Right.
And these are instructions for the performers.
Yes.
For the performer. So everything that is on red is referring to the bellow.
To the bellow.
Everything that is on blue is referring to the theatrical aspect of the piece.
Right, like stage notes, in other words.
Staging.
Yeah.
And all these button things.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Right. Go ahead.
Yes. So all these drawings are supposed to be doing the hands on the buttons of the accordion.
Oh, that's great. Yes.
Because it is supposed to be an accordion with buttons.
Yes.
With keys.
Right, so it's not just a squeeze box, it is an actual accordion with keys and...
Yeah, with keys, and so these are where the fingers are supposed to be playing in the button keyboard.
Right, and so is this, I don't know if you can see it on there, is this like an interlude with the bellows?
Yeah.
So there's hands on the keyboard and you produce a sound, and then there's an interlude with the bellows itself, and then you go back to different positions on the keys. Yep. That's excellent. That's very interesting. I don't know of anyone who, and so you'll have to. Here's something. I don't know if you can see this. Go ahead, Sindrin.
Yeah, actually, this score got a prize because of the graphics.
Yeah.
And so these are the positions, the drawings that the hands need to do.
Yes.
To have certain sounds. Happening.
So when you have like the diamond shape, the greens within that, the green spots where the fingers actually depress the keys, or are those open keys?
So these will be the first buttons
Yes.
to begin the drawing, and
Yeah.
then the rest will be around just. Tick, tick, tick.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
So the green ones are the first buttons to be
Ah,
pressed,
ah.
and then
And
they
then
make
it's
the
followed.
drawing. They make the drawing. Yeah.
It looks very difficult.
Yeah, it is difficult. So there's only one accordion player, Teresa Manzanero, in Spain, who could play this piece, and she's very brave. And
Yeah,
I dedicated the piece to her actually. So
yeah,
yeah.
if you see this, it's really very interesting with how it's done, because you don't.
So it's
Well, I know that when the piece starts, the sound is very un-accordion. It doesn't sound accordion.
it
It's
is like snoring
yes,
because she's sleeping.
yes,
It's-
and then it kind of erupts in a way. Kind of just
yeah,
throws
the
out.
music comes. No?
Yeah. Do you have any?
The beginning?
Well, no, anything else that you want to?
No, in this piece, yeah, there's some other
Oh,
pages. So it is all a collage with different kinds of paper.
Right.
and,
Overlay.
Yeah, overlay of.
But this, I mean, this is actually how it's played, and you would read it from
Yeah, from
left to
here.
right.
This is right hand, and this is left hand.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same as in the piano. And then you read this, and then you continue reading this.
Wow, and then
And
there's
then
more bellows.
Yeah, so there's.
There's something else I noticed here, and I think only because it jumped out at me. God, Vespertine. Okay, where is it? I'll find it. That's what.
Yeah, this is the
the
beginning. So this is when she's doing the snoring. She's switching hands, tan, 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 and it accelerates, then accelerates, and she says, "Basta!" She needs to yell it, to shout it to the audience. No, basta, basta is enough.
Enough. Right.
Enough in Spanish, enough, because it's like, and then the musical piece starts.
And then followed by the bellows again, right?
Yeah, so it's, basta, and then her air becomes the bellows air. So it is
Right.
all
So
connected.
this is vocalized, and then the bellows kind
The
of
bellow.
pick up for it can
To continue the breath.
Continue the breath, right?
So she's totally connected to her accordion as if it was the bellow for her to work to.
Yes.
You know, so she is the monster, and the bellow is like her breathing. So
Right.
yeah.
Now, is there now the fact that the accordionist in this piece is a woman? Is that just because she happened to be the best accordionist you could find to do this, or is there supposed to be the bravest?
Yeah, the bravest one, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think someone's trying to play your accordion through the sound system here.
Yeah.
But I think that's great, and that's for Shelley too. Now,
Yeah.
I have not seen Shelley 3.
Oh, I didn't bring it. Sorry, but
Can you describe it for us?
yeah, I can describe it. So it is dedicated to a soprano that is called Laura Bond.